Okay, we have here a 1947 Harley-Davidson knuckle motor and transmission. Have been carefully taken apart, dismantled, and cleaned. This is all original CAD, original nuts and bolts, original finishing. The only thing that's been repainted, which you always lose, is the cylinders and heads, because Harley-Davidson do not use heat paint, and the only thing that's left is a bunch of rust and a little bit of color. It's all original plating. So, unless I wanted just rusty heads and barrels, you got to repaint them, and that's just how it is. And this here is number 10,894. Okay, we know they made 14,047s. We know they made 12,046s. We know they made about 1,500 and something 45s. This we know. We know this because when people were starting to write this stuff down, the guys that worked there were still around. What we don't know is the early stuff. The later stuff, even with as many mistakes as there is, we have an idea. We think there were 347 frames. We think there could have been more. We don't know. The reason being is this. Nobody, even the guy who worked there, built all those 14,000 bikes. And only the guy who built it knows what was on the bike, and he was building so many, he probably didn't remember what he built on that one bike next year. Okay, they have an idea. That's all they got. So we're gonna take a look at a lineup. These are all original paint bikes. This one is here is the motor and transmission we just looked at. This is the chassis for it. It's original paint, is documented since brand new. This is Mr. Bill. Okay, it's a beautiful original paint bike. Let's take a look at our Springer. We have an offset neck. Okay, we have a weld. Here's our weld here. These are our rockers here. Okay, we have a narrow strap front fender with a wide strap rear fender. This is a 4-finger frame. The very latest 47s had UU right here in the neck. Harley-Davidson knowingly switched this around, that around, as they had it, got this, got that, slapped this on, slapped that on. What they didn't really mess around with much was the style of the actual scheme of the bike. In other words, if you got a 40, you got your 40 stripe, you got your 41 to 46, you got your type of tins, or you had to order it with no tins. You didn't magically get 47 tins on a 40 bike, for example. You could have put them on later, and a lot of guys did, but it didn't come that way. So here we have number 6007. Okay. Again, a documented since new bike. Number 6007. This is an original paint machine. And again, we have our 4-finger neck here. Now I know guys who know of number 7500 with the earlier frame. So we got a discrepancy of 1,500 bikes Harley playing around with frames, whole frames. Alright, it's a beautiful original paint bike. Again, we have our weld here. We have our rockers here. Okay. We have an offset Springer. Now we have another 47. This one here I can trace back to the late 70s, possibly earlier. The old man doesn't have the best of memory, but it was traded in at some point in time in the 70s, probably late 70s, to the Harley dealer for pennies on the dollar. This guy's incredibly cheap, which means you got it for a couple $100 or less. So I got it in a big Harley dealer buyout, which is on the tube if you see it. It is an original paint bike. As we go down the lines, a lot of these bikes don't have the original gas caps on because I haven't yet made the corks for the caps. Now again, we have the wide strap fenders here. Okay, we got the wide strap on the front fender. And this one here, if I pull the bags off, we'd find a narrow strap on the rear fender on that blue one. Now again, this one here is an early one. It was an original paint bike, it's never been apart. And this here is number 3873. Okay. I've personally ridden this bike about 2,000 miles. I've ridden the blue one. I've briefly ridden that black one there before the motor decided I'm too worn and I can't go any further. So let's take a look here. We got an unusual casting right here, which I only know of on this frame. So that makes an unknown 47 frame with bull neck. Okay, nobody else has seen that casting. Let me get in here, see if I can see what it reads better. Pretty sure, maybe you guys can make it out. I'm pretty sure what it said was MC. I can't make it out right now. But anyhow, that casting mark is not on these other frames, I don't think. Oops, no, I stand corrected. Let's find it right there. That's that casting mark right there. There we go. Let's take a look at this other one here. Now here's the point. The point I'm trying to make is nobody knows. I don't know. You don't know. None of these experts know. None of the judges know. Nobody knows. We have an accumulation of knowledge that if you're aware, you will learn more. So this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to learn more. There's another casting mark right there. Okay. So we got those 3 casting marks on 47. All right. So that's good. So let's go over to our 46. Now this one here was rough. The sheet metal, it's Harley paint, but it's not applied at Harley. When I first got it, I thought it was real paint. I found out I was wrong. The frame is real paint. The front fork, well, the front fork is an earlier fork. It's an inline fork. I think it's a 38, 39 fork, something like that. It works. I stuck it on, okay, because I didn't have the right fork. So it's not a piece together bike, but somebody had replaced the fork at one time. So it's an original paint, quote unquote, with a set of sheet metal. I do have some tanks, but it's not the same thing as a together since new bike. It's not the same thing, not at all. But we carefully patinaed the motor and transmission to the original patina and the wheels and those original spokes, etc., etc. It's still a really cool bike, but it's not the same thing as together since new bike. No, it's not. So, very nice bike. This is my 46 here. This is 46 2808. There we go. Right. Now again, this fork doesn't really count because I can't properly date this fork because it was just a fork, but it is original paint. And we have a sweat date there. Now, before I get into these other bikes and compare, we do know is this, 37 for example, they alternated in the late 37s to enclosed rockers and open rockers. They didn't write down which one got what one. Okay? We know they experimented with hydraulic forks on Knuckleheads starting in 1945. You're going to tell me if you didn't know somebody at Harley Davidson and you wanted it, you couldn't get your hydraulic fork in 1945 or 46 or 47 because that's what you wanted? I don't believe you. You don't know. Guess what? I don't know, but I don't believe you. If we find one and we have documentation since new, well, that's the way it was made. It was a hydro knuckle. But Harley Davidson never sold one commercially. But that doesn't mean they didn't make one. All right. Now, we go back to our 41 here. We have our sweated fork here. And again, we have our number, what is it, 2917. Again, this is a documented since new motorcycle. We have our inline fork here. And this is an early 47, which takes an inline fork here, okay? Now, when I found this fork, I personally dated it as a 3839. These are NOS springs, but it had black springs. And I've seen and own a 38 with black springs, which we'll get to in a minute. So, now we've got 3 offset springers. Late 46 took an offset springer, early 46 did not. Different frame, different fork. That's an early 46. But again, your later bikes are made a lot more of them. There's a lot more original paints around. There's a lot more knowledge to be had, to be found. A lot more documentation. The earlier stuff, a lot less. So we've got our Police 40 here. Again, documentation since new. Okay. And again, this one here is, let's see if I can read that. 1845. Now notice our 40 rocker clutch here. Notice our 40 clutch. Bingo, early clutch. Notice our 41 rocker clutch is different here. Looks different. You can visibly see it's different. Got the late clutch. You following? You see where I'm getting at here? Here's our 40. It just came in. It's got our early rocker clutch. It's got our early clutch here. Okay. This guy was short. See where this is at? It's all the way forward. He was short. He had to reach to put the front brake on. So yeah, he wore this striping off. Duh. He rode the bike. Okay. He used his heel, not both, mostly his heel to operate the rocker clutch because he was short, so his leg was out, so he didn't rub this. You follow? Okay. Now, oh, it's a late fork. Well, how can it be a late fork when it's an inline fork, you idiots? Maybe some Harley forks were welded up here. Yeah, I think that's a Harley weld on an inline fork. Well, didn't happen. Well, yes, it did. Just earlier than you thought, because nobody knows. I don't know. You don't know. None of us know. How about let's learn? Have an open mind. Let's learn. This bike's been documented since '71. The old man's still around. I'm going to get him on video. I'm going to talk to him and get his history on it. He's still around. The guy who traded this bike in. Okay, this has never been a part. Get over it already. Harley didn't build stuff to the catalog all the time. That's the reality of it. Now here we have our 38. Now it's my bike. Somebody will come off and start bashing it. Before it was my bike, it was a winner's circle bike. Because it's mine, somebody will come off and say some pile of crap, just like they're doing on the beautiful green one. Okay? Here's our 38. Got new old stock tanks, new old stock gas caps, new old stock wheels. Okay? Runs like a top. See the black? That's what that 46 front end had. Right? See these here had these rockers on it. So it's an original paint fork. But it's an early 46. And as you just saw, somewhere between 40 and 47, some of the bikes had this welded. Okay? How do I know this? I just showed you. I'm learning. Have an open mind and let's learn together. He who has a closed mind and knows everything, you know what? He knows nothing. That's the reality. He knows nothing. I just put this NOS shift knob on here. It's an accessory here. Cool bike, 68,000 original miles. And this one is number 2604. Different rocker clutch. Early primary. Safety award. Okay. Again, that relay is a Knucklehead era accessory item made through the 50s. Came out about 46, 47, somewhere in there. No, I don't have every catalog made, and probably neither does anybody else. So I just put our little factory visitor knob on our greenie here. So there we go. As of this moment, that is the, I'm going to call the 46 with the repainted sheet metal and original paint, because I have original paint set of tanks and I need some fenders, which I'm sure I can find. So that gives us essentially 8 original paint bikes in a row, all Knuckleheads. I have not started the greenie here. I have not started our 41 two-tone custom, and I have not started the 46 custom paint. I have ridden the others. So we're going down the row again. Here they are. You know what it would take to document this? Beyond reasonable doubt would be 1,000. 1,000 knuckleheads. 1,000. I don't have them. Neither do you. So, maybe I'll get lucky enough and be able to do it. I don't know. I'm gonna try. But we got 8. So, off to a flying good start. More importantly, we got the bike that started the original paint craze. Right there. Greenie herself. So if I get lucky, I'll have it running by summer. If I do, we'll certainly make a video of it. There we go. There's the row. We're going to go over the top of them now. We still have a little light. Okay, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Let's try and keep an open mind, guys. Let's try and learn something. Nobody knows. We know some of it. Nobody knows it all. See ya.